Hello, YouTubers, and welcome back to another episode of Freedom Friday here on the Ohio Patriot Education Network YouTube channel. I am, as always, your host, AR the Ohio Patriot. And for today's episode, we're going to talk about why Issue 1 must be defeated come Tuesday. For those who don't know what Issue 1 is here in Ohio, it is literally child murder and child sterilization on demand. Period. End of story. It's literally a copy and paste of the garbage that Michigan passed about a year ago, which is exactly where these fucking leftist asswipes got this shit from. They literally went to Michigan and said, hey, that looks like a good idea. Let's pull that shit here in Ohio now. And then they went and got Soros funding. They went and got Bloomberg funding. They went and got fucking a bunch of pieces of shit like Martin Haskell, who is a literal fucking child murderer at this point. The guy is the one who literally coined late-term abortions because he murdered a bunch of fucking kids is what it was through abortion. And they're all funding this shit. All of them. All these leftist mega donors are funding this crap, dude. And why are they doing this? For one very good reason, obviously. Because they want to control the population. While importing fucking third world trash all into our country at this point, dude. The same kind of third world trash, by the way, that literally raped a 10-year-old girl here. You know, that's one thing I'm going to start out with on this one entirely. You know, people, this is the thing with the left, dude. This entire election cycle for the last 90-something fucking days now, these asshole piece of shit leftists with their stupid bullshit attack ads, it's always, oh, the 10-year-old rape victim, 10-year-old rape victim, blah, blah, blah. What they never fucking tell you, though, is that the guy who raped her was illegally in the United States of America. The guy had no legal right to be in this country. The guardian of the kid was also illegal, which is exactly why they didn't take them to the cops, because it would have been deported by fucking ICE. And I'm pretty sure, from everything I've looked into, that the kid themselves, the girl who was 9 when she was raped, and then 10 when she actually had to get the abortion, pretty sure she's illegal too, for that matter. So you're talking about a bunch of people who, if they were never even in the country to begin with, wouldn't be a fucking issue here. And the reason I bring all this up is because you have some of these assholes on Reddit bitching and moaning about how State Rep Gary Click is misrepresenting stuff with the whole thing because he falsely claimed that it was the abortionist, or it was the rapist that took the girl to have the abortion in Indiana, which is not true at all, actually. It was the guardian who was also illegal is what it is, dude. Which, for those who don't know on that whole thing, it was the woman who was the girl's guardian was seeing the guy who was the rapist. They were in a relationship together. That's where the whole thing started from. That's how he got access to this kid to begin with. And that's the thing. That's what they'll never tell you. That's what the left will never tell you, because they'll always leave out that information because they want people confused. They want people being like, oh my God, that's such a horrible thing that happened. Yes, it is. And you know what we should be doing, dude? We should be fucking executing that piece of shit here in Ohio. By firing squad, for God's sakes. That's how that shit should be treated, dude. You rape a kid, you fucking die, dude, period. You molest a child, you're done. It's as simple as that, bro. But instead, you got all these asswipe leftists that are like, let's do away with the state death penalty instead. And that's the entire problem, dude. It's such fucking moronic idiocy with these people. They don't even get it anymore, man. They really don't. So, we're going to talk about the whole issue here in a minute, and then we're going to go over some various Reddit threads that I've found in the last day or so. By the way, if Frank LaRose or Dave Yost wants to actually do their job, they would legitimately be investigating actual election interference in this whole thing, when you have piece of shit leftists on Reddit literally admitting to their fucking crimes right here, with this fucking dumb cunt yesterday, picked up some litter along I-71 today, keep Ohio beautiful. Yeah, they're literally tearing down vote no on issue 1 signs, dude. How the fuck is that not election interference right there, dude? How is that not multiple fucking felonies right now? Oh yeah, because you're not actually prosecuting their asses. This person should be catching a felony for every single one of the signs that ripped out right there, dude. For election interference, for fucking everything else for that matter. You know? Voter manipulation, etc. there is what it is. It's the exact same crimes you're trying to charge Trump with right now, honestly. Is what these fucking asshole leftists here should be tried with, is what it is, dude, for tearing down them signs. You have no legal right to tear down signs like that, dude. You know, that would be like me going around and just ripping fucking yard signs off people's yards, for God's sakes. It's the same shit, honestly, at that point. That are all the vote yes garbage. So, then you got people talking about their daughter turning 18 and then voting yes on issue 1 is what it is here. It's like, man, y'all people are just sick in the head right now. You really are. Like, these people really are just sick, dude. They're just completely disgusting. So, anyway. But yeah, if you actually go to the Ohio subreddit there, it's nothing but like, oh, this is why everybody needs to vote yes on issue 1. It's total fucking leftist echo chamber is what it is, dude. But what I find interesting about the whole thing, and of course you got, during that whole thing, I'm going to talk about this one real quick, you got this kind of stupid bullshit right here, which is, you cannot be for government-mandated pregnancy and personal freedom at the same time. Except that's not what this is, you fucking retards. It's not government-mandated anything. It's literally the people saying, no, you're not going to fucking kill kids on demand to moment of fucking birth in the state of Ohio, you assholes. You're not going to fucking sterilize children either, for that matter, because that's what the shit is on both fronts, man. And like I said before, it really should have been like 3 to 4 different issues, because it was abortion is one of them. You have child sterilization / hormone drugs on another one of them. You have parental rights as a third thing. And then there's like at least a fourth thing in this whole thing. So it should have been at least like 3 to 4 different issues at that point then. And that's exactly why the Ohio Board of Elections is corrupt as fuck right now, because they allowed it to become one issue instead of multiple issues on the ballot. It should have honestly been issues 1, 2, and 3 for that matter, and then you had the weed thing be issue 4, if that be the case. And truthfully, it shouldn't even been issue 1. It should have been, since we already had issue 1 back in August, which was the 60% threshold, which should have passed actually, which of course you had misinformation that left back then being all vote no on this shit. And, you know, that's why it didn't pass, because so many people were misinformed about the whole thing. But in reality, it would have just made Ohio like I think it was like 42nd state or something like that, to actually have 60% thresholds to pass stuff into our state constitution, which is exactly what these assholes wanted. Because, by the way, just point this out right now, they couldn't even get 50 counties of 88 in Ohio for this fucking abortion amendment, dude. They couldn't even get 50. That's exactly how little people actually want to allow killing kids in the womb in the state of Ohio right now. Which is why I believe this will be actually defeated on Tuesday, hopefully. Because if it's not, I'm ready to sue right now. I'm ready to sue every single person involved in this shit, dude. From Planned Parenthood to the Ohioans for reproductive freedom assholes there, to the Catholics for Choice douchebags, to everybody else is basically shit talk this whole thing, dude. And they're shit talking human life, and they're sitting there calling you anti-abortion when in reality you're pro-life. That's what I'm so sick of too, by the way, with the left, is this fucking wordplay garbage scramble that they're doing right now, where it's them trying to shift narratives and make you fucking play into their mannerisms is what it is, dude. I'm not fucking doing it anymore, dude. Fuck y'all. I am pro-life. I am not anti-abortion, because abortion is fucking murder, you assholes. I'm anti-murder, you fucking cunts. That's what I am. And I know for a fact I'm not the only one in America that's anti-murder of innocent children, you fucking scumbags. Anyway. But, yeah, going on with a couple other ones here. There's a couple other stories I want to talk about here, which is obviously got Bloomberg and company talking about this bullshit right here, which is abortion on Ohio ballot seen as test for key 2024 election issue. No, it's not a test, dude, because it's going to be defeated soundly. And if it's not, the only way it's not defeated is because mass voter fraud. And that's what I said before, dude. Like, seriously, Frank LaRose, do your fucking job as Secretary of State, man, or don't have it anymore. There is literal video evidence that CNN's had for 3 years now where they caught people stuffing ballot boxes in the 2020 election cycle in Cuyahoga County near Cleveland. And you've never investigated this shit ever in that whole time. Are you fucking kidding me, dude? You were Secretary of State at that point for a year and a half when that happened, and you did nothing to investigate the shit. And 3 years later, you still done nothing to investigate at all. and even winning re-election for Secretary of State again. Only to now, springboard to a U.S. Senate run is what it is. If you're going to be focusing on U.S. Senate, then fucking resign from office, dude. And let an actual Secretary of State come forward and do their fucking job then. And investigate this shit. Just like how I told you 6 fucking years ago, almost, that Sherrod Brown's ass cheated in 2018. I literally have evidence in hand for you fucking people to investigate the shit. So this dude will be in Ohio prison forever now. And yet, in almost 6 years' time now, over 5 years now, since the 2018 midterms, y'all have done fuck all to actually investigate it. Like, what the fuck, man? And then you wonder why I call you fucking rhino sacks of shit out, honestly. Because you're not doing the job that we, the taxpayers, are paying you to fucking do. Anyway. So, this one actually popped up in the feed. I believe it was yesterday or the day before this. And this is basically people having regret, obviously, in this whole situation, and this woman not understanding regret is a thing at that point, you know? And that's the thing, you know, there's that one famous statue, actually, that somebody made, and it's basically, it's a double set of statues, actually. It's a woman on her knees, basically sobbing into, like, a cloth or something, and it's right in front of a little girl who would have been probably, like, I don't know, like 6 or 7, maybe, like, height-wise and stuff like that. And the representation of that statue is a woman who had an abortion in her life, and it's the daughter that she lost, is what it is. It's the daughter that she regrets, you know, terminating permanently from life. And I feel like that's what so many of these leftists don't understand, man. And I don't know if it's the chemicals in the water, if it's some kind of brain barrier thing from the fucking jabs and shit, who the hell knows? It's like they don't get it, though, man. Maybe it's all the oxygen that they lacked during the fucking mask mandates when they have masks all over their faces and shit like that, and then get actual, you know, oxygen to the brain. That's what it was there, dude. Maybe that's what it was, deprivation of oxygen to the brain, for God's sakes. Who the hell knows? But it wouldn't surprise me, honestly, on all of them. But yeah, so you had this woman here who was talking about how my devout Catholic in-laws helped their eldest daughter get an abortion in college and have vote no on issue 1 sign in their yard. This is from 2 days ago. So I'm guessing this would have been the Halloween night or the night before Halloween. She said, I got to witness that then because we trick-or-treat in their neighborhood every year. So basically what they're saying is they go to the rich neighborhood to get better trick-or-treat shit. Get better candy for the trick-or-treating is what it is. Instead of actually going to their poor-ass neighborhood and going there. Which is what a lot of people do, by the way. But that's besides the point. You know. Anyway, she said, person who got the abortion was even there visiting. I'd like to add that it was the very same person who lost custody of her teenage daughter to her younger sister before she dumped her abusive husband and was finally able to get her life back on track in her late 50s. So, I'm assuming, just given the fact that she said the woman's in her 50s right now, so she's talking about at least mid to late 50s there, and this happened in college, which I'm assuming was roughly 30 years ago when she was in her teens. So like 92 to 94, somewhere in there probably. And the thing is, who's to say how old the grandparents were at the time, you know? They could have been like 35, 40 years old, for God's sakes. You know? And that's the thing. It could have been one of them situations where they were like, hey, we're done raising kids or whatever the case be, and that's why they chose to, you know, have her get an abortion. Hell, for all the fuck we know, she was raped. You know? And that's the thing they love to talk about all the time. That's the thing the leftists and the Dems and everything else like I love to talk about in this whole thing, dude. It's always, you know, rape and incest this, rape and incest that. Who's to say this woman wasn't raped, dude? Who's to say that child was not the product of rape at that point? That being said, just because that child is a product of rape, does that mean that they don't deserve life? Hell no, it doesn't mean they don't deserve life. Look at that woman in Pennsylvania who was trying to run for the U.S. Senate a year ago. She actually came out not long before the whole thing and specifically stated that her mother was raped and she was the product of that rape is what it is. But her mother chose to still have her is what it is there. And that's the thing, you know? And again, the real problem I have with the whole rape incest thing is these leftist people that are pushing that bullshit narrative, dude. will never admit that it's such a low percentage entirely. It's like maybe like 1 or 2% at most in the whole thing. But the way they're acting is if there's just like people running around everywhere going and raping everybody is what it is, dude, or just a bunch of family members incesting on fucking children and shit like that. That is not the case at all. Hell, it's why they have to keep fucking pushing forward the 10-year-old there and all these fucking attack ads and stuff like that against issue 1, or to people that are against issue 1, because they know for a fact that their fucking bullshit narrative is just that, dude. It's a bunch of bullshit. It's a fucking pack of lies that they built up to this giant statue and then put a big ass fucking punch bowl full of shit turds on it is what it is, dude. So, anyway. But yeah, it's just like a giant statue of shit holding a punch bowl full of shit is what it is. Anyways. But yeah, she continued, this one continued on, though, about her, I'm assuming it's a sister-in-law then, probably. Said her Facebook page is currently filled with crazy right-wing memes and suggests she supports her parents voting no, but who knows? I didn't ask her, and that's the problem again with the left, dude. It's the same thing with them not debating and stuff like that. They will never debate you. They will never actually show anything at that point. They'll just bitch and moan and babble on some more. But they'll never actually show you what's going on there. You know, and actually, to add to that whole thing, I want to point this out really quick, which was this other Reddit post here that somebody was in Franklin County there to vote and had a "fuck you Frank LaRoche" shirt on, but yet we're too much of a pussy to actually show her face in the photo is what it is, dude, because that's the whole point. The left are fucking cowards, man. They are, legitimately. It's why I've spent over a year of my life right now, as I'm trying to run for county commissioner next year, to try to find 10 people to do debates. You know what I could find? Fucking zero. Not one person, not one fucking person will come on here and debate my ass on abortion, on gun rights, on any of the stuff that I want to talk about, dude. Because again, they're fucking cowards, they're pussies, that they know they would lose those debates in 5 fucking minutes or less. Because they know that they have a straw man argument every single time, and they put that fucking straw man up there instead of actually making a steel man argument that's impenetrable and proving that they can actually back up their fucking shit with facts and knowledge. Because they can't. So they have to sit there and lie and misrepresent shit and slander everybody else and then lie some more, misinform people, disinform people, you know, give you half the story, or even in most cases with a 10-year-old girl there, it's about a fifth of the story actually that they're giving out there in those random attack ads and stuff like that. And it's like, bro, like what the fuck? And then you realize, again, it goes back to August. They want people stupid. They want people confused. They want people misinformed so that they will automatically vote yes on their stupid bullshit amendment is what it is, dude. Which, by the way, would have never even been on the fucking ballot to begin with if we actually had a 6% threshold in this state right now. If you had to have a chunk of all 88 counties in the state have to be having people on the list that would get on the petitions is what it is. Because like I said, I think they could get like 49 or 50 exactly is what it was. They couldn't even crack that much though. Anything over that. Because shocker, all the counties that they went to get that stuff, it was all around major cities and shit, dude. Like where you have Franklin County, you have all these little ones right around it, like 4 or 5 of them, whatever the case be, they got them from there. It's like all the leftist hell pockets of the state really is what it is. Around Toledo, around Cleveland, around downtown Canton there. Which, by the way, it's interesting. I was driving around downtown Canton recently. And it's very, very interesting to me exactly where you see the line of demarcation at this point. Because you'll drive through downtown Canton, the same dumbasses that have voted Democrat for fucking decades now, and wonder why their entire town is such a shithole. I have to go in there with a gun in my pocket every time I leave the house just to go get water from a fucking park down there. Because the crime is so goddamn bad. These are the same people that are talking about vote yes on issue 1 shit, dude. Meanwhile, You drive about 10 minutes out of there to the next town over to mine and into my town and stuff like that right here. And it's vote no signs everywhere, dude. And it's roughly about the same amount on both sides. So you have people living in basically minor city is what it is of Canton here. And there is some vote no signs too, for that matter. But the majority of them were vote yes signs. And then you come out here to the rural area and it's all vote no signs, except for that one over there. It's some person that's all a rich son of a bitch is what it is over there, who does have a vote yes sign in their front yard. And I would love to talk to that person, honestly, dude. And be like, why, dude? And it would make sense, honestly, if it was a woman, truthfully. If it wasn't even a husband, if it was the wife or whatever the case be there. But yeah, it just blows my mind, honestly, dude. It really does. And the thing is, it's not like there's not other states around us, whether it be New York, whether it be Michigan, etc., where you could literally drive a couple of hours to that state, dude. If you really wanted to kill your kid in the womb, you can go do it there at any time. Why force Ohio to have that shit too? Oh yeah, that's right, because you're a fucking scumbag, piece of shit, lazy-ass loser who wants fucking convenience on demand is what it is. It's the exact same bullshit with McDonald's and stuff like that. I was watching a thing earlier today about that, with the whole $20 an hour thing there in California now that Newsom signed into place for minimum wage. Now they're talking about the possibility of having Big Macs at like 20-something bucks a piece now or something. Because I guess right now there's a place in Connecticut that is actually the highest percentage for a combo meal there. So you get, and mind you, I remember back in the day when I was a kid, and this is maybe like, I'm trying to think when Morgan Spurlock did that Super Size Me movie, like early 2000s, somewhere in there. It was before that, so it was like 2002 or so, give or take, maybe. So 21 years ago, more or less. You used to be able to get 2 20-piece nuggets. So you're talking about 40 nuggets there. 2 supersized fries. Not even the medium bullshit they have now that's like this big. It was those big-ass supersized fries that were like that big. That were basically enough to feed like at least one person or maybe a couple people if that be the case. And then 2 supersized drinks. So you're talking about with those drinks, it's like 70 ounces of liquid essentially, or maybe more, not even. And then probably a good like pound or 2 of fries on that one, and then 40 nuggets for $10. Now, at this place in Connecticut, you get a Big Mac, a medium fry, and a medium drink that's like maybe like 12 to 16 ounces, something like that. $18 fucking dollars. Who the fuck is paying $18 for McChemicals bullshit in 2023, dude? Seriously. You know, I told you about this about a decade ago, honestly. The best thing I ever did was get off that crap, dude. I used to eat that shit a lot as a kid. And then I finally decided back about around 2013, give or take, when I found out what McDonald's bullshit is actually made out of, which is a lot of chemical-based crap at that point, to look like food. Got off that shit. Within less than a year, I dropped over 100 pounds. And I've kept that weight off since then. That shows you how bad the crap is that they're putting in their fucking meals there is what it is. And claiming passing it off as food is what it is. That it will make you gain that much weight. And you can lose that much weight in such a short amount of time by just simply getting away with that. Getting away from that shit is what it is, man. So, anyway. But going back to the whole abortion thing here, and to that story with that woman claiming the Catholic in-law thing. So yeah, she was talking about the daughter doing so-called right-wing memes, etc., etc. Said, these are the people who would have the money to take their kid to another state or country for an abortion if needed on a whim. So basically, she's talking about them being super rich is what it is. Says, to be clear, I am voting with a resounding yes. I am a parent of 3 myself. So really, you're just a hypocrite is what it is, lady. Just wanted to let the local public know from recent personal experience that, yes, there are definitely devoutly religious people who have aided their close family members in abortion and are still voting no on issue 1, but happy to advise those and are still not only voting no, but happy to advise others to vote no. So they want their family members to have the right. They just don't want you to have the same rights. They can violate the religion whenever they feel like it, but you aren't allowed to. Blah blah blah. Yeah, she basically goes on anti-religious rants. What it is here, dude? Like a stupid bitch, like she is, dude. Because that's the entire point. You have no real argument here, lady. So what are you doing? You're trying to again push the straw man argument. Oh my God, my Catholic in-laws helped their fucking daughter get an abortion like 30 years ago, and now they regret that stuff because they don't have a fucking grandchild there. Yeah. It's called actually being a human being and not a fucking demonically possessed piece of shit, lady. That's the entire point. But she continues on with her insanity here. She said, I already exited myself from them long ago, and the more I learn, more I don't regret my decision to cut them out of my life personally. And then said, edit, since this post finally did have to say something. Confronted them twice. First was subtle, second time not so much. Ended up in me finding out that they somehow think I'm a deadbeat mother because of a week spent away from 2 of my 3 children earlier this year. Completely denied the abortion stuff. I love how she says this too, by the way. So I'm assuming that the person she's referring to in this case would be their son, which should be her husband, by the way. But she refers to them as my partner. Finally was completely shocked into texting them himself. He couldn't believe they called me a deadbeat mom. I can, though. Smelled it months ago. Their constant sexist judging of me. My partner didn't believe it. Kind of feel bad that he had to find out this way, that one of his family members decided to be the very direct in the group text, and no one else spoke up after she did about the deadbeatness. So ended up in a finally blocking everyone, which I was close to doing anyway. Even brought up my daughter, their granddaughter, still no dice. So again, that's the problem though, dude, right? So she's sitting there bitching like, oh, well, I'm just going to cut people in my life anyway. So why the fuck even talk about it, you dumb bitch? Oh yeah, that's right. Because you're trying to score political points over your fucking bullshit because you're a fucking demonic piece of shit, lady. That's the entire problem with you goddamn leftists, dude. And that's why I'm so fucking sick and tired of your asses at this point. And that's what I've said many times, dude. The 19th Amendment, at least in part, was 100% a mistake in this country. So is the 26th, for that matter. There honestly needs to be constitutional testing for voting rights at this point in this country's history, because not everyone should have voting rights across the board by default at the age of 18. And then, of course, the rest of the stupid-ass thread just goes into people bitching and moaning about, like, oh, but my parent had an abortion, and now they're being a hypocrite about it because they're like, oh, I shouldn't have done that, or whatever the case be. And then people are talking, like, other people are bringing up other stupid shit, like, oh, like 50 years ago, one of my family members was a, child bride, or whatever the case be. And then if they had an abortion, I probably wouldn't be here if that'd be the case. And we'd all be better off, by the way, if you weren't. And that's the entire point, man. And that's the thing people don't realize, dude. They can actually take themselves out of this world, by the way. Just saying. Not to mention the fact that it's like, here's my thing, right? If you want to get an abortion as a woman, sterilize yourself. Seriously. Go get a tubal ligation so you can never have kids again then. And then go fuck around on the cock carousel all you want, bitch, and you have no fucking repercussions for that matter. Because you can't have kids ever again then after that. And I would say the same thing with guys. If you want to fuck around with like 50 different women, by all means, go ahead. Have a vasectomy first. So you're not bringing in other fucking children to this world. But of course, people never do that, is what it is, dude. Because again, they're hypocrites. They're hypocrite douchebags, is what it is in many cases. Actually, one of the better signs I saw that somebody pointed out here was this one, which is they got a, pull this up real quick here. It is a vote no on issue 1 sign, and then it says vote yes on issue 1 to kill babies, which is very true, by the way. 100% spot on that one, man. So that's what it really is, man. If people are voting yes, they're voting yes on, honestly, is to kill kids in the womb. So anyway. So something weird that keeps popping up in my feed when I go to Facebook every so often now. This is what's really bothering me too, by the way. So I've been posting stuff on there relating to what's going on in Israel and stuff like that recently. And they'll never actually give me like bans anymore is what it is. Yet they'll remove some random post claiming I violated terms of service, but yet won't actually tell me what the post is what it is. Which I think is very weird. And it goes back to the whole censorship thing of why I want to sue the shit out of all these social media companies now. This was one of the ones that popped up here about a week ago or so, give or take now, which was coordinating harm and promoting crime is what they claimed I did there is what it was. And it's like, yet they would not actually show me what I actually had posted that would be conducted underneath that fucking terms of service shit. So it's like, how the hell are you going to remove that post if you can't even like show me what the hell it is about, dude, honestly? Like, it's just insanity, honestly. It really is, man. And then, of course, going back to where I believe we are going to be able to win this whole thing with a voting no on issue 1 and having this bullshit voted down then. You had this kid here saying, I'm outnumbered in my family and I'm terrified for the election results. My husband's family is very conservative and Christian. My husband and I are very progressive, liberal, aka you fucking love the leftist bullshit on demand is what it really means, honestly, on that one, dude. Not surprising at all. Really what she means is, it's not her husband's liberal/progressive. It means she's a liberal progressive whore who's fucked around a bunch in her life and then proceeded to basically shove her political bullshit on her husband after they got married, and now he's a leftist turd just like she is what it is, dude. That's what she really means on that one. If she's beating that guy down so much that he's basically like, fine, fuck it, I'll vote that way with you. Anyway, she said, it's always the men who are the loudest about their opinions. No, actually, it's all you stupid bitches here in many cases, lady, because you're the ones coming on the fucking Reddit threads bitching and moaning about the whole thing. Like, that's what I'm saying, man. I guarantee you, if I looked at every single post on Reddit on the Ohio Sober in the last day or two, almost 100% are by women bitching about issue 1. And why you should vote yes on issue 1. Because it's about reproductive freedoms. No, it's not, dumb bitches. It's literally about you being able to kill kids on demand without consequences at all. And being able to sterilize children who are already alive by putting them on HRT and other hormone drugs to stop them from having puberties in this country. And completely sterilize another generation of kids is what it is. That's exactly why Nazis like George Soros are behind the fucking shit while they're funding this stuff. Anyway, the stupid bitch continued on and said, very actively avoiding them before the election because I can't hear it anymore. My husband's brother-in-law had a child before he was married. Before he married my husband's sister. This child's mother wanted an abortion as the relationship was failing. And the brother-in-law fought hard to prevent her from getting that abortion. Oh, you mean he saved his fucking child from being murdered in the womb? He actually went and got father's rights? Is that what you're talking about, you dumb bitch? I think that's what you're talking about, you dumb bitch. But of course, you leftists will never admit that stuff because you always love to talk about the mother's rights. Mother's rights, this, my body, my choice, bullshit, that. Yet you never talk about the fucking father's rights in the situation. You never talk about if that father would want to be a single father to that child. Would take that kid. You know, it's the same exact thing with the whole adoption thing, dude. All these people want to bitch about adoption and everything else like that, yet they'll sit there and be the same scumbags that were talking about killing kids in the womb. They may actually be financially well off enough to go have the kids, take my adoption system and stuff like that, yet they'll be a bunch of hypocrites and be like, no, I don't have the room or anything like that, dude. The entire problem, really, honestly, with the American foster care system entirely in this country, dude, is it costs so much money to even be able to adopt kids at this point. It's why you have people go overseas a lot of the times and go adopt kids overseas because of the fact it only costs a few $1,000s to go over there. Meanwhile, here in America, it's like tens of hundreds of thousands of dollars for that matter, if not millions when it's all said and done. And that's the thing, man. People cannot afford that kind of money to go adopt a kid out of the foster care system. Are you fucking kidding me, bro? Now, granted, on that same vein of things, you actually will have people that will do the foster to adopt thing, which is a lot easier when you're doing a foster system, when you're doing actual fostering, not just going for adoption straight up is what it is there. And you'll have people that will usually take like an entire group of kids then that were all family together. And that's the kind of stories I love to hear, honestly, a lot of times, dude, because you'll have these kids that are, you know, maybe 3 or 4 kids together, like brothers and sisters, or maybe it's like 6 or 7 kids for that matter. And you're essentially having these people create an instant family for them, being their parents then. Obviously they're adoptive parents, but still their parents at the end of the day, because their biological parents were either deadbeats or they were, criminals or whatever the case be, and couldn't take care of them then. And instead of letting these kids be separated in the foster care system, they're like, no, we'll take them all. And I really give a lot to those people that do that, man, because in most cases, it's good people taking them kids in. And by the way, it's very religious people taking those kids in. It's not a bunch of fucking atheists. It's not a bunch of fucking Satanists, a bunch of fucking other assholes like that, dude. It's a bunch of Christians, etc., that are doing that kind of stuff. So, anyway. Continuing on with this one. Okay, so she said the guy fought for his kid to be born, insisting he'd raise the child himself. The child is now in his mid-20s and has 4 younger half-brothers. The father is staunchly pro-life, or rather, or I love what they say this, or rather anti-choice. No, you got it right the first time. He's pro-life, you dumb bitch. Said family also took in one of their nieces temporarily as her parents were going through some rough shit. Niece needed some serious help, and when it got too hard for them, after about 6 months, they threw her out to the wolves at the age of 15. She bounced around for a few foster homes before turning 18. Okay, so she's giving you a backstory of they took her in and then kind of threw her out is what it was. Yet you yourself, as again, extended family, could have taken this young girl in yourself on that one, lady, but you chose not to. So who's the bigger piece of shit in that one? The people that took her in and then tossed her out? Or you for never even taking her in at all? So, yeah. Anyway. Let's see, where's this woman here? She said, I was in a domestic abusive relationship before I met my husband. Okay, again, this is what I'm talking about here, dude. This woman is bringing up her own psychological trauma from being raped constantly. It's like this. It's the exact same shit with that couple, Beth and Kyle, that they had to begin with this whole thing. Which, by the way, I find it very interesting too that those ads ran for about 30 days or less, give or take, and then suddenly they disappeared everywhere. Is what it was, dude. Because again, people started calling out Beth and Kyle for the actual thing, like I was calling them out about a few months ago. Now is what it was. Where when you actually look into that whole thing, what happened to their kid there, it was like a 1 in a million chance that kid had that fucked up condition, which the condition in that case was their child, who was in the womb at that point, was developing with her organs on the outside of her body and couldn't be saved, is what it was. So it was like technically a quote unquote medically necessary procedure then. Now, granted, that being said, doctors don't always know everything, dude. And I've seen many advances in modern medicine right now where you literally have them taking the fucking embryonic sac out with the child still in it, moving around in it, for God's sakes. And are able to perform surgeries and stuff, dude. Or even just like the teeny little like pin needles and stuff they have now. They're like knives and shit. And they can do these teeny little surgeries like that inside of the fucking womb then, dude. Now, granted, they're cutting edge and breakthrough things like that not everybody's going to be able to afford, obviously, because of, various insurances and stuff like that. But still, I mean, like, it exists right there now, And it's like these people are claiming that shit doesn't exist, honestly. And it's like, yeah, dude, you could easily have had that be a case where that woman could have actually, continued on that pregnancy and potentially had that kid survive. And they just did some kind of weird, like, surgery with her inside the womb still is what it would have been. And that kid would have been born healthy then, probably, for all we know. But instead they chose to go do something then. But anyway, I digress. Anywho, going back to going back to this article here, or going back to this woman's story here. Yeah, she claims she's in a abusive relationship, being abused daily, forced to have sex even during periods, and after yelling no, causes me pain, endured some pretty horrific abuse. Luckily, I never got pregnant, but I was terrified every month with him that he'd eventually knock me up against my will, suggested with the decision of having and hiding an abortion before I even got pregnant. It was scary. Could only imagine those who weren't lucky enough and actually had to navigate that decision. Again, there are shelters in the thousands for females in this country who are victims of domestic violence and abuse like that. But you guys choose, in many cases, to stay in that abusive relationship because you are falsely led into a thing where your mind is fucked in the head because you're being psychologically abused that whole time as well. That, oh, you're not going to be shit. You're not going to have anything without me kind of thing. And that's exactly how the abuser continues on their abuse, dude. It's why it takes people like that, whether it be women or men for that matter. It's somewhere between like 13 and 18 times to finally escape the abuser is what it is, man. And it's because you finally muster up enough courage to get the hell out of there is what it is. And in some cases, it's because you have kids with that person. And you're like, well, what am I going to do with my kids? It's like, yeah, you take them to a fucking shelter is what it is, man. I also like, the reason I point out the thousands of shelters for women here is what I'm pointing out there is obviously because you only have, in the entire United States of America right now, as far as I'm aware, there are 2 shelters for men of domestic abuse and domestic violence situations. Where it's like some chick beating on them, or maybe they're in a gay guy relationship, whatever the case being, it's their, husband, whatever it is, beating the fuck out of them then. So, yeah, the entire point is there's only 2 shelters for men as far as I'm aware, as of at least a couple years ago anyway. That might be a couple more now, but it's still a handful is what it would be at the time, though, here in 2023. Meanwhile, you got, thousands of tens of thousands across the nation for women is what it is there. Don't want to escape abuse and shit. So, anyway. Let's see. How much more of this is there? Okay, this one continues on. So my husband knows about my horrible past, but his family doesn't. All I've heard through the years is what a hero the other guy was for making sure his son was born and raised him with a new wife, whom he married when the kid was 5 or 6. Suppose this is one example of why an abortion wasn't the best choice, since the kid ended up in a decent family, but I don't know the kid's mother, and suppose her story may be much different. And this one continued on. So we have an 8-year-old daughter, and we're obviously voting yes. I'm terrified for my daughter's future under these circumstances. Those voting no are fighting for the wrong thing. No, we're actually taking a stand to make sure that your kid isn't fucking dealt with, lady. Like that, I swear to God, man, this is the kind of woman, truthfully, like this woman's whole story here with her own psychologically fucked up past, what it is, dude. Sounds like the kind of adult female in this country that would be a Jazz Jennings type of mother. Jeanette Jennings. Where they would take their son at 5, 6, 7 years old and put them on hormone blockers because they wanted another daughter is what it was. And they realized they can make a payday off the kid by suing sports leagues and shit. Which is exactly what the Jazz Jennings story is for those that haven't looked into it, honestly. It's pretty fucked up, actually. You had the kid that was Jacob at the time, that's now known as Jazz, put on one of his sister's dresses one day, and then, Mom Jeanette's looking around like, how can I abuse this is what it is. And then, of course, they had them in soccer leagues and stuff like that, and then they sued a bunch of soccer leagues that were female only, that wouldn't allow their biological male son to be in them. And then they won in a bunch of court cases, what it was there. And then they had TLC give them that fucking shit show is what it is there, man. And just make a bunch of money off that stuff while pushing other bullshit at kids nowadays, dude. Honestly, that's the one thing that bothers the hell out of me, honestly, is how the hell the entire Jennings family, from Jazz to Jeanette to Greg, etc., are not sitting in a federal prison cell together right now for psychological, mental, and physical child abuse, both of their own child and of other children out there now. Because the thing with Jazz is they were psychologically abused as a child. They were physically abused as a child, etc., through various hormone treatments, etc. there. They are now trying to do that same shit to younger generations of kids, man. Why are they still walking free? And why is their family still walking free? Oh, yeah. It's because Democrats never get arrested for this shit, man. Anyway. Let's see. Wow, man, this woman is a real cunt, man. I'll tell you what. So she's attacking people. Okay, so she's basically talking about her own kid here, whatever the case be. Let's see. So maybe we need some kind of protection for fathers because one is required for a woman to be pregnant. A very nuanced, tricky thing, but not right ban abortion, including cases of rape and incest, going too far. Meant to oppose women, nothing. Okay, so this is where she falsely claims a bunch of bullshit here. This is meant to oppress women and has nothing to do with protecting kids or parents' rights. Bull fucking shit it doesn't, lady. In fact, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go grab the ballot language for issue 1 and read it again, man. Because it specifically states it in there. On the Ballotpedia. Okay, so let's go to Ballotpedia here. We're going to read this whole thing right now. So, let's see. Okay, where's the actual ballot language here? Okay, here you go. The proposed amendment would, quote, establish in the Constitution of the state of Ohio an individual right to one. Okay, by the way, this never says woman in it, by the way. It says one's individual right, so it could be either or. It says individual right to one's own reproductive medical treatment, including but not limited to abortion. Create legal protections for any person or entity that assists a person with receiving reproductive medical treatment, including but not limited to abortion. So what they mean by that entity would be doctors and shit like that would be able to not get away with child murder is what it is, dude. After the moment of birth is what it is there. Prohibit the state from directly or indirectly burdening, penalizing, or prohibiting abortion before an unborn child is determined to be viable. By the way, the viability is by individual OBGYNs, etc. on that one. So unless the state determines that it is using the least reproductive means, grant a pregnant woman's treating physician the authority to determine on a case-by-case basis whether an unborn child is viable. So like I said before, it could be one is 20 weeks in and it's viable. Another one is literally 33 weeks in and it's not viable now. So you're killing an 8-month-old child is what it is. Only allow the state to prohibit abortion after an unborn child is determined by a pregnant woman's treating physician to be viable, and only if the physician does not consider the abortion necessary to protect the pregnant woman's life or health, and allowing an unborn child to be aborted at any stage of pregnancy, regardless of viability, if, in the testing physician's determination, the abortion is necessary to protect the pregnant woman's life or health. If passed, it will become law after 30 days. And it goes on from there, basically. But yeah, it's a bunch of shit, dude, entirely. But there's other stuff in here, too, by the way. And the reason that we're bringing that whole thing up, obviously, is because you have, like they're saying in that whole thing, reproductive medical treatment. Or really, it just goes back to the medical treatment part of the whole thing. Because that's the thing. And that's exactly where it does become parental rights and stuff like that. Because you could have a kid who is fucking 11 years old, a biological male, being like, I feel like a girl today. Oh, my parents aren't letting me take hormone drugs. Oh, but this passed and I can totally do that because it's the same exact copy and paste bullshit as Michigan a year ago. Oh, I'm just going to go to fucking Planned Parenthood now and get my abortion drugs on demand. Or sorry, get my child sterilization drugs on demand is what it is. And they will, man. The fuckers at Planned Parenthood, etc., have already admitted that shit, dude. That's exactly what this crap is in many cases. Hell, you've had people come out now that have detransitioned in the past year or two now, who have straight up admitted they've gone to Planned Parenthoods in the past like 10 years or so, had one 30-minute consultation, a half hour of their lives, and were prescribed either testosterone or estrogen. After a half hour. Like, what the fuck, man? It's psychotic. And then especially when we look at the pieces of shit in support of this crap, dude. So we obviously got Ohioans for reproductive freedom. That's going to be the number one person I'm going to sue the shit out of if this actually passes, because we know for a fact they're going to do voter fraud stuff. I also plan on suing Ohio Physicians for Reproductive Rights, Ohioans United for Reproductive Rights, the ACLU, the Abortion Fund of Ohio, New Voices for Reproductive Justice, Ohio Women's Alliance, Planned Parenthood Advocates for Ohio, Preterm Cleveland, Pro-Choice Ohio, Urge, and Catholics for Choice. We'll all be named in those lawsuits if this passes, actually. Because I know for a fact the only way it passes is mass voter fraud, dude. 100%. But yeah, so those are all the bullshit organizations that are all Soros-funded, Bloomberg-funded, etc. And then you got individuals. Piece of shit, Sherrod Brown. Stupid bitch, Elizabeth Warren doesn't even live in the state of Ohio. Moron, Congresswoman Chantel Brown. Fucking cheater piece. State Rep Nikki Antonio. State Senator Nikki Antonio. State Senator Kent Smith, Democrat. State Reps Michelle Grimm and Allison Demon Russo. And we got shocker, former New York Mayor Michael Bloomberg, Obama, Ted Strickland, the Democrat Party of Ohio, and then all these other motherfucking scumbags, specifically the ACLU that Soros funded. And then, of course, you got fucking pedophile John Legend is on the list. As our other sacks of shit, Elizabeth Walters, Ohio Democrat Party chairwoman, and Lynn Schusterman, chair of Schusterman Family Philanthropies. I think that's how you pronounce that word. I'm assuming this guy's the mega donor guy is what it is. Okay, yeah, this is one of the mega donor dudes that's funding all the fucking. Oh, sorry, this bitch is the fucking one that's funding all this bullshit. I thought it was a guy. Because sometimes Lynn is a man. Yeah, net worth $4.5 billion, and this bitch is definitely putting a bunch of money into the fucking abortion. She looks like a fucking demon, dude. She looks like kind of who will be at Bilderberg meetings every year is what it is, honestly. Fucking scumbag ass eugenics Nazi wannabe bitch. And then let's see who's actually opposing this one. Who actually is good people. Let's see, we got number one, J.D. Vance, U.S. Senator. Warren Davidson, Mike DeWine, Najee Antani, State Rep. So you got, let's see, U.S. Senator J.D. Vance, Congressman Warren Davidson, Governor Mike DeWine, State Senators Najee Antani, Lewis Blessing, Andrew Brenner, Jerry Serino, Matt Dolan, Teresa Gavarone, Bob Hackett, Frank Hoagland, Stephen Hoffman, Matt Hoffman, who is the current Senate president, is probably going to jump in the General Assembly next year to go try to run for Speaker of the House then. Terry Johnson, Stephanie Coonsey, who's actually a Bloomberg anti-gunner, but she wants to, basically toe the party line on this one. Al Landis, George Lang, Nathan Manning, Chandra O'Brien, Michelle Reynolds, who's the one that beat that piece of shit Tina Maharoff last year. Christina Romer, Mark Romanchik, Christina Rogner, Mark Romanchik, Michael Ruley, Tim Schaefer, Shane Wilkin, Steve Wilson, and then we got state reps Adam Byrd, Christina Hagan, Adam Matthews, Jason Stevens, Lieutenant Governor John Husted, and Secretary of State Frank LaRose, as well as U.S. Senate candidate Bernie Moreno. Mike Pence is honestly on this list, which is kind of, is what it is. And we also got the Republican Party of Ohio. I really wish they would have put my fucking organization on here because we 100% are in support of this. Ohio Patriot Education Network does support the against issue 1. We are no on issue 1 is what it is here. So, yeah. So those opposing issue 1 would be obviously Ohio Patriot Education Network, along with the Center for Christian Virtue, Dayton Right to Life, Knights of Columbus, Live Action, Ohio Catholic Conference, Ohio Right to Life Action, Coalition of Ohio, Roman Catholic Archdiocese of Cincinnati, Archdiocese of Cleveland, Archdiocese of Columbus, Susan B. Anthony Pro-Life America, and the Concord Fund, as well as Tucker Carlson and Dennis M. something or other, a Roman Catholic Archbishop. So, yeah. And then it's interesting when you actually look at how much money has been spent on this right now. So you got, in support of this, $39 million fucking dollars plus, and then in-kind contributions another $2 million for a total of $41,708,864.25 on this BS fucking amendment, dude. In opposition to that, there was another $29 million and some change spent there. So you're talking about over $40 million in ad buys, etc. there, dude. And you wonder why every time I turn on the fucking news in this state in the last 3 months now, every single commercial break is vote yes on issue 1, vote yes on issue 1, vote yes on issue 1, protect Ohio women, protect Ohio and protect women's reproductive freedoms. Blah, blah, blah. Fuck y'all, man. I'll tell you what, if I become governor of this state in 2026, we actually make it in this country before having a civil war in this nation, and we actually are still a functioning country by 2026, and I become governor of the state of Ohio, dude, one of the first things I'm doing as governor, executive order, motherfuckers. I am putting that shit pen to fucking paper. And it's going to be, there is a max cap on how much can be spent on any of these fucking races. Especially on some bullshit issue like this. And it should be a maximum of like $5 million. And there should also be a maximum of how many times any ad buy can be shown at any time of the day is what it is there. Which in reality for any station, it should be maximum like 6 or 7 times a day then. So, because it should not be literally constant just vote yes, vote yes, vote yes, vote yes, vote yes. Or it's either that shit and then it's like a vote no right after that, or it's a vote no first and then it's vote like 3 vote yeses after that. That's to be the case, dude. It's fucking insane, dude. Like, enough is enough of this shit, honestly, man. But yeah, going back to that woman who was talking about being against being for issue 1 there. She's basically then shit talking her sister-in-laws and claiming that where's that here now? Oh, okay. No, it's sorry. Yeah, okay, yeah, his sister-in-law, her husband's sister there. Says practices home birth midwifery unlicensed and is probably also voting no. You realize we've had midwives in this fucking world forever, right? And they've always been unlicensed except for the last few years now that they've been forced. But I think it's hilarious too, by the way. This is where, again, the irony is not lost, dude. Because you have these same fucking people, these same leftist douchebags wanting to bitch and moan about, like, government overreach. Yet, meanwhile, they're trying to force people to be licensed by the government to practice midwifery. Fucking Looney Tune land is what it is, man. Seriously. These people really are direct scumbags is what it is, man, honestly. For those wondering what the 1630 Project is, which is one of the mega donors here for $5 million, that is the motherfucking pedophiles tied directly to Obama's ass. And I'm going to bring this back up real quick so we're talking about this for a sec. Because this is all the people that did direct contributions to the whole abortion amendment here. So yeah, you got 1630 Project, $5,317,600. That Lynn woman, $3,500,000. Open Society Policy Center. This, by the way, is directly George Soros. So I might as well just say George Soros. $3.5 million. ACLU, so obviously a Soros proxy, another $3.27 million and some change. Planned Parenthood, $2.5 million, which I guarantee is a lot of taxpayer funds on that one. And then the Fairness Project, which is another leftist org like that, probably tied to Soros or Bloomberg, I'm guessing. $2.2 million. That's a lot of fucking money, dude. On the flip side of that, who is the one contributing to the majority of the money against issue 1 to actually save kids in the womb here? It's Protect Women Ohio. $26 million. Protect Women Ohio Action, which would be their political action committee, $3 million. And then Protect Women Ohio Fund, another $3,000. And then we got individual donors here. Susan B. Anthony, Pro-Life America, almost $20 million. Concord Fund, $18 million. That's a Columbus, $1 million. Archdiocese of Cincinnati, $500,000. Diocese of Columbus, $500,000. Diocese of Cleveland, $200,000. So it's literally religious organizations and the church, essentially, are the ones that are, the people that actually give a shit about human life is what it is. That are all getting that money together is what it is there. So, but yeah, like I said, like this is the problem right here, dude. That Lynn woman who's a billionaire, and then Soros, who is 2 of these fucking things on here, along with Bloomberg and shit funding the rest of it is what it is there. And then, of course, you got Obama pedophiles is one of the big ones, is $5 million. So, that's the real problem with politics in a nutshell, is the whole money in politics thing, dude. So, yeah. It makes sense that a bunch of child molesters would be funding this shit, honestly, dude. Because, again, why wouldn't you be when your whole end game is to rape kids and get away with it? Which is simply that, dude. With abortion on demand, you could literally have these sick fuckers, these sick-ass billionaires, going around raping Ohio's children, for that matter, and then simply just sending them off to an abortion clinic, get an abortion at fucking 9, 10, 12, 14 years old it is there. So, it's disgusting, man. But like I said, I think the real end game, honestly, it's not really that, though. It's more, especially with Soros, he's admitted over the years, it's literally to have nothing left of America, dude. It's to have America board itself at that point, It's to have a controlled population. It's exactly why they're trying to kill off the majority of people here already, whites, blacks, legal Latinos, etc. here, that actually are, smart Americans in many cases. And then it's to import the third world trash that's going to already be pro-communist, pro-socialist, etc., that are going to be able to easily be manipulated and be controlled. And doing that, take over that demographical shifts, etc. And that's the thing. It's much easier to control a population that has 56 different languages in it than to control a population that's entire language is English by default. So, anyway. And that's exactly why they import these people, by the way. They bring them from Africa, they bring them from Asia, they bring them from Central America, Chile, etc., And they're all non-speaking. None of them speak English, dude. It's either French, it's, whatever their native language is, Spanish, Chinese, whatever. None of them speak a lick of English. And then you wonder how they're easily manipulated like that. It's not that hard to figure out. So, anyway, at the end of the day, we need to be voting no against issue 1. It's a bunch of shit, dude. It's fucking garbage. It's a garbage amendment from Michigan a year ago that should have never been allowed to be on the ballot here in Ohio to begin with. And it's as simple as that, honestly. If you're an Ohio voter, please, God, vote no on issue 1 come Tuesday. Or if you're going to vote before that, early voting last couple days here, please vote no on it during that time. This needs to be defeated soundly. It needs to show that Ohio is not putting up with this shit ever again, dude. Because like I said, I'm willing to sue. I just don't have the money to do the lawsuit, so I have to go to other people to get the fucking lawyers and stuff like that to do the lawsuits then in the future. Here's what it'll be. But I have no problem doing that, honestly. If these fucking people are going to voter fraud their bullshit into place, which is the only way that they can win this whole thing, because there's not enough voters out there to fucking vote yes on this crap, dude. If they're going to try to pull that shit, then it needs to be lawsuits, it needs to be election audits, etc., and finally out these motherfuckers and put them in the prison systems where they belong. And it's as simple as that, really. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Freedom Friday. I will be back tomorrow night, hopefully with a panel then, because I was hoping some people would be on here tonight, but they're not. But yeah, I'll be back tomorrow night for Stand Your Ground Saturday. We will talk about various things relating to the Second Amendment on that chat about 10:30 or so, give or take, maybe 11 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It all depends on whenever Famo finishes up his chat then tomorrow night. But yeah, be back then to talk about that stuff. And we'll go from there, basically. But yeah, as it stands right now, though, vote no on issue 1, man. It is a garbage amendment. It never. First of all, it shouldn't even be allowed to be taken into the Ohio Constitution at all, man. It'd be one thing if it was written into our revised code. That's one thing we can, amend that shit back out then. For them to bypass that entirely and try to push it into our state constitution, because that's the thing. That's the thing with Bloomberg and Soros, by the way, they're behind this stuff. They know for a fact that this would never get passed through our General Assembly because they don't have the fucking votes here is what it is. And they never will because we are a red state, legitimately, whether it be through gerrymandering or otherwise. And this is exactly why they're skirting the will of the people who voted these politicians into office by simply doing an end run to try to fuck over human life. It's exactly why they wanted the shit to be voted down in August so hard, because they also want to push for anti-gun bullshit to be shoved through our Constitution next year. Which is exactly why I'm to the point right now of we need to get our own issues on the ballot come next year. And it basically enshrines a Second Amendment Preservation Act in the Ohio Constitution, period. And tells the left to go fuck itself forever is what it is then. When it comes to gun rights. So, anyway, that being said, that's where we're at for the day. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I will see y'all on the next one. Have a good night, and vote no on issue 1. Later, y'all.